Okay, we're calling to order the Ukiah Valley Sanitation District special meeting on Monday, July 16th at 6 p.m. The time is 6:04. Would you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Chelsea, would you take roll, please?
Chair McNairland?
Present.
Vice Chair Reed?
Here. Director Witt? Director Baucom?
Here.
Director Marshall?
Present.
Thank you. And for those watching on camera, there is no one in the gallery. So for public expression, unless our cameraman has anything he'd like to say, okay.
Or board member has anything non-agendized.
Yeah, I guess. So, item number 3. Discussion and possible action adding the interim district manager on the district savings bank account. Did you, you have the floor.
Yeah, well, I think just briefly, because hopefully that's what it deserves. We've been talking about in the office just sort of to expedite the process of distributions, especially on the small accounts that, since Chelsea writes the checks and I'm usually in there, that would make sense to be on that particular checking account. And we just facilitate that and save Teresa coming in.
What would the cap be?
What it is now.
5,000 is the cap. And we barely run anything, or we run everything through the county now. So it's payroll, podcast, bookkeeping, and really that's rent. And rent. That's pretty much it.
So what would that entail? What does it take to get?
If it gets approved, we'll type up a letter, I'll sign it and walk it over to the bank and put them on the signature card until the board does something different.
Okay.
Takes them off.
Since this is an interim position, I won't completely stop everything with my beliefs that we need 2 signers on the account, but I will be bringing that up again when we hire district manager full-time.
Okay.
Always like to give my 2 cents.
I found that you have to take the minutes with you that says it was approved.
Yeah,
to the bank.
some require, we were talking about that earlier, so they're gonna find out if we actually need to approve these minutes and then do it, or if we can just write a letter, so. But, I'll just keep coming.
No, I get that. And 2 signatures, a lot of places do it. Or you do it at a threshold number,
Yeah.
whatever. It's just good segregation of duties.
Yeah. So, any other discussion on this?
I move to add interim district manager as a signer on our savings bank account.
I'll second.
There's been a motion by Vice Chair Reed and a second by Director Marshall. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Nay. Next item. Discussion and possible action regarding allowing Victor Sanchez, which is our part-time person, to work up to 30 hours per week while maintaining his part-time status. And
Yeah, and I just think the idea there is, workflow in any particular week. You may need more hours to get a project done. If you don't need it, it's fine. But when you put it at 15 or cap it, sometimes that stops on a Thursday. And then so in theory, you would have to wait until that next Monday to continue on. And the sewer rate project is, I think, an example where it would be nice to have some flexibility. If you need to put up to those 30 hours in 1 week, great, you have it. And if you don't, then, but it's not quite as constricting as the way that the originally was done.
When he was hired, he was set kind of as the same hours as Chelsea because he doesn't have a key or access to get into the building. So how is that going to affect
He has a
his hours?
laptop computer.
That he can work remotely?
When he can work remotely.
I've done that too before. Like last summer, our AC went completely out. So Joe and I, that's kind of why we got the laptops. We had to work from home because it was way too hot in the office.
Yeah, and that's the only way it makes sense otherwise. But I'm here in the afternoons, not always, but sometimes. But it's the laptop that really makes this sort of a practical and feasible way to do that.
So the main thing that he would be doing is the rate study.
Well, the rate study I use as an example. There may be other projects that come up that we get into. They're going through the office right now and kind of going through all these binders and trying to figure out what we have and what we don't have. And so all these projects, there's some of them are timely bear things that we have timelines on, but
Who's been responsible for keeping track of his hours and his workload?
He makes his own time card, and then I run through it and check it out, and then Mark runs through both of our time cards as well and signs. Our time cards are pretty in depth, if you ask us. You put all your hours under what category, what you've been doing, and then they get signed by the employee and the manager. And while we didn't have a manager, when Joe was out, Teresa was signing them and reviewing them.
And who's delegating the workload?
Well,
Both of
right,
us.
yeah, I guess both of us. Chelsea has a pretty good, has the best knowledge of what really is done day to day, right? So it makes sense for her to get Victor up to speed on some of those things. And then when we have a project, that sort of, we place that in and give that priority, and then Victor will work on that.
And he has multiple projects in the office going on. You should see it. It's a mess right now because he's reorganizing everything.
Yeah, I was gonna invite everyone to stop in maybe at some point and just check in and see what he's organizing the binders and categorizing and labeling, and I think he's really doing a good job.
He made a petty cash system for us and an inventory log and everything.
He's bright. He was, I think, easy to work with when we were training him for that.
Did John send him the info?
We got the first one today.
Good.
Vic's actually working. He's at the water park right now having fun in Roseville, but he took the laptop with him so that he could work remotely on that project.
So, yes,
We have delinquent accounts coming up too,
Yes,
and that always eats up a lot of time.
that's what I'm doing. I was actually working on it before the meeting just now. We have to put out a notice 2 weeks before the public hearing, which is going to be August 8th, our regular meeting.
Mm-hmm.
And it has to be published in the newspaper once per week for 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And thankfully this year, I still have to make the entire spreadsheet and calculate the fees and everything for the everyone who's delinquent. Last year, we had only 60 accounts that we sent to the county. This year, we have like 120. So my load is doubled.
What's
Wow.
considered delinquent?
Or they haven't paid their bill at all.
The city will try to collect on customers that haven't paid, and if they can't collect, they send it's called a collection list over to us, and then I go to the county, look up who the property owner is, put it in our system, send out notices. But I do that by list. I get one like once a month, and then when the public hearing comes around, I have to send out notices from the entire year of collection lists and tell them we're having a public hearing. If it's not paid by this date, I'm sending it to the county, and it's going to be placed on your property taxes.
I think it's 90 days, right? They're 90 days delinquent or more
Yep.
when we get them.
Some of them, I seriously have some from April of 2016. The city was trying to collect, and they were paying a little bit. And they were trying to pay a little bit.
That's it.
And then there's just not the paperwork and the numbers, but the conversations that take place from people coming in and having to research all their particular complaint. I mean, it eats up a lot of time.
It does, and I have one account on there that I think like $11,000 is owed. So it's good to get this done. And then there's a few regular items that I put in the agenda packet that we do for the hearing. I include the proof of publication. There's a little report. The chair will read the report on.
This is getting off topic.
Yeah, so back to why we need Vic at 30 hours.
Mhm.
Is there any more board discussion about that or a motion?
Oh, I make a motion that we allow Victor to work up to 30 hours when needed per week.
Okay, there's a
Second.
motion by Director Baucom and a second by Vice Chair Reed. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Nay.
Thank you.
Okay, next item number 5. Discussion and possible action, nomination of UVSD board member to the countywide redevelopment agency oversight board. And this is you would be representing special districts. Is there anyone who wishes to be on this board?
I do.
Okay, anyone else?
No.
No? Is there a motion to nominate Director Reed?
I make a motion that we nominate Director Reed.
Okay, is there a second, please?
Absolutely.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So Chelsea, please put her name on the nomination letter and send that in.
I have the original.
Way to step up.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right.
How many boards are you on?
Well, that will
Okay, we are now adjourning at 6:14. Thank you.
Giant start. At
10 minutes.